Hello and welcome to the Feminine Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Polly Alexandre, and I'm a success coach, healer, creative, and future millionaire. If creating money and success in a spiritual and feminine way is your goal, this show is for you. Understand how to overcome your past, bring your soul's greatest gifts to the world, and up-level your income, impact, joy, and happiness. Join me each week to be inspired and uplifted as you learn the business, mindset, energetic, and spiritual shifts you can make to create your own wildly abundant life and business. Let's all rise together. Hello and welcome back. I have been on a holiday for the last 10 days, and that's going to be the topic of today's show. So I'm going to be talking about how to take time off without feeling guilty. As women, guilt comes very naturally to us. And actually taking time off and feeling like we're worthy and deserving of it, and not feeling guilty or not feeling conflicted about not working in our businesses, this can be quite a challenge. So today I'm going to talk about how you can shift the guilt around taking a holiday, taking time off work. And I'm also going to talk about the benefits of a staycation. I think this is very timely given that many of us over the last 18 months have not been able to travel or take holidays as we may have wished, or we have been limited. And so most people I know have taken a staycation, a holiday at home. So I'm going to talk a bit about how I made that something special for me and the process that I went through to create one of the best holidays I have had, despite not actually going anywhere. So, are you ready? Let's dive in. So I used to really struggle with committing to taking holidays, especially in the first 5 years of my business. I would have serious FOMO or feel like I couldn't afford the time away from the business, or there was just too much to do. And it just somehow never seemed to be the right time. But actually it was deeper than that, because when I did eventually take time off on the insistence of my team, when I realized that I was the only person that had no holiday time booked off for the year ahead, and my team insisted I book my holiday in, when I actually went away, I hit problem after problem after problem. I had to move hotel room 4 or 5 times in Miami. I hit problem after problem after problem because there were underlying blocks and guilt around taking the time off. So then I would unconsciously sabotage my holiday. And that actually set me back even further because that put me off taking a break. So taking a break, taking time off when you're a driven, ambitious entrepreneur who really cares about their business, about their mission in the world. And when you have money blocks and you're in fear of the money running out or the money not coming in or missing a lead, a potential client, a new inquiry, this can really be quite a big piece to master. So why would we want to master it? Well, first of all, you have to get filled up. You have to be filled up, energized, have those creative juices flowing, have the cup overflowing so that you can give truly and completely to others. So it's literally a non-negotiable to make sure that you're filled up first. Secondly, part of abundance of money is actually having joy, pleasure in life, is allowing ourselves to have the experiences that bring us joy, allowing ourselves time to travel, to do things we love, to experience new things. And so what is an abundant life without time off purely for you, purely for your family, purely to enjoy life? And if you don't take time out, you're just going to burn out. Over time, being an entrepreneur is a demanding path, personally, spiritually, professionally, and you're going to need regular breaks to sustain that momentum and that commitment and that energy without burning out and without hitting health issues. So quite simply, holidays need to be a non-negotiable. Number one is to hold yourself accountable. So at the beginning of this year, I booked in my holiday, even though I didn't know my plans for the year. Like many of us, a lot of things were up in the air. I didn't know where I was going to be, exactly what I was going to be doing, who I was going to be with. But I held myself accountable and I booked in holiday for the year in advance. I then announced it to my team. And I also announced it to clients and in my programs that the business will be closed. So I was literally held accountable by what I had announced. Second thing is to be intentional about your holiday, even if you're staying at home. So you don't necessarily need to know where you're going or what you're doing, especially at the moment. That's kind of difficult to plan long-term travel with the changing regulations and restrictions. But you can be really intentional about the experience you want to have wherever and however that's created. So as my holiday approached, it became apparent it was going to be a staycation in Ibiza. But I sat down with my journal for half an hour and I wrote down, how did I want to feel? What did I want to experience during my time off? And what would be joyful or pleasurable for me? And I listed out some of the experiences that I desired to have. A good place to get some clarity here is to look at your values and how you can honor them. So I'll share a couple of examples. So one of my values is freedom. That's one of my core values. And so I didn't want to have time off that was fully scheduled with meeting up with people, with activities. I wanted to have that sense of freedom of waking up in the morning and having nothing in my schedule and being able to be spontaneous in the moment. So that's an example of me honoring my value of freedom on my holiday. Another value of mine is beauty. And so I looked at how can I honor my value of beauty during my time off? And some of that meant personal care. So taking a few hours to do an at-home spa routine, a facial, a body scrub, a lovely long bath with oils. It also meant booking a spa day to honor my need to be pampered, my desire to be pampered. And then it also meant actually taking time to be in nature, to admire and be absorbed by the natural beauty that I'm surrounded by. The beauty of the oceans, the trees, the forests. And the third tip is when the guilt comes up, and it did at times for me. I had this kind of burning urge to check my email or to get ahead on a project that I knew was coming up when I came back to work. Or maybe I should just study a little more. These feelings of guilt are very normal feelings, especially for women who have thousands of years been trained to give to others, not to ourselves. Highly likely it was modeled by your own mother to put others first before their own needs. We inherit that programming not just from our own mothers, but from society, the media, and our culture. Women are the caregivers, the caretakers, and it takes active awareness and a conscious decision to break this pattern of guilt when we put ourselves first. So whenever you feel fear or undeservedness or guilt coming up during your time off, just acknowledge it. Allow it to be present and breathe through it. I recommend using the emotion code or tapping in the moment when you feel a wave of guilt to just shift that feeling and take it down to a manageable level. So, I'm going to share a little bit about what I did, if you're curious. How did I have an intentional staycation? But before we do, remember, choose to believe that you're worthy and deserving of time off, and recognize that you're a better person for refilling your tank. And this is what I noticed. So many ideas started coming through and bubbling up, and the enthusiasm, the energy, the passion for my work, I could feel that being refilled as well. My best ideas come when I'm relaxing, when I'm resting, when I'm daydreaming, when I'm taking time off. So this time is not wasted time. This is productive time. Remember to be intentional. Look at what you most need. What are your values and how can you honor them in your time off? And you can use this process for 2 days off, a day off, a week off, a month off. And when you're taking a week or more, know that the first couple of days, stuff will bubble up. I almost find it's like you've been running the car engine for a while and then you stop the car, but the car's still hot. Yeah, the engine is sometimes still running. And it's a little bit like that. Know that things that you maybe haven't had time to deal with or handle or have been frustrating you or sitting below the surface, these can bubble up the first couple of days. So probably my most emotionally intense were the first 2-3 days. So make a commitment to using journaling, any release practices, any healing to handle that, knowing that it will calm down. I also recommend keeping a lid on personal admin because it can really take over your holiday. I did spend some time doing personal admin. I did take a morning and I sat down and made a list of all the things that needed to be taken care of. And I condensed that into a part of my holiday. And I did it without any resentment, but I chose to see it as a self-loving act, an act of self-care. And then you need to set powerful boundaries. This is really important. An out of office reply. If you don't have an out of office reply when you're out of office, you are setting yourself up for stress and anxiety. I'm amazed at how many businesses do not have an out of office reply. It's perfectly fine to let people know who to contact, how to contact if that option's available, or when you'll be back and when you'll reply to their email. So you know that you're not ignoring people and you're being responsible as a business owner, but you're also setting firm boundaries that you're not available. I also closed my Facebook groups and notified everybody in my programs that I was not available for support. You may also choose to extend that to your voicemail and your social media. I personally did choose to go on Instagram because I don't get triggered by Instagram. I actually find it quite inspiring and quite fun. And I follow some great people and I love it as a research tool. I actually found some really cool new artists on Instagram when I took an hour just to surf around. So that was actually quite nourishing for me. Okay, let's talk about the staycation. So as I said, this was a staycation for me. It was really cool. Here's 7 reasons why having a staycation at home is good. Number 1, you get to organize and order your home environment. Oh my gosh, I did literally a complete clear out of every aspect of my home. Every cupboard, every drawer, every part of my home had a full and complete release and clear out. It feels so good now. I feel ordered. I feel in control. I feel like I've cleared out a lot of energy and I'm really ready for the new. Second is that it's a pattern disrupt your usual routine. We can get really stuck in habitual ways of doing things, and a break at home, you're still in your familiar environment, but you're disrupting how you do your day. You're shaking up your mind, your body, your spirit, and you're opening yourself up to new ways of being. Thirdly, it's a space for new ideas to come through and to create. When we're away a lot of the time on a holiday, we're visiting things, doing things, traveling, stimulating our nervous system. But when we stay at home, our nervous system can relax. It knows the environment. It knows how things work. So there's really a space for new ideas to come through in this beautiful spaciousness. New awarenesses can come through. I had some moments of really great clarity, which didn't have the space to come through during a regular working week. I had space to be spontaneous. So if your value is freedom, you really need this. And I know that so many of you in my community, freedom is one of the things you most value. And it's also part of the reason that you run your own business, to have that freedom of lifestyle, of time, of schedule. And it's really important to exercise that by taking time off and setting your schedule as you want. But also when you take time off at home, you have this wonderful space to be spontaneous. You can do whatever you want, and that really feeds that value of freedom and honors it. You've got no flight or accommodation costs, so you can give yourself a budget and think about what would be a real treat, and I'll share what I did in a moment. And you can spend more time doing things just for fun. So I'm not a big cook, hands up, not a whiz in the kitchen. I call myself the reluctant chef, but I actually spent some time cooking for fun. Because there was no pressure, it was purely out of desire and choice, and I had endless time. So what did I do? Well, I think you can probably guess some of the things I did. To honor my desire for beauty, I spent a pool day at a beautiful hotel with epic views of the ocean. My food was provided, wonderful service and space just to relax and read magazines and visualize. I spent a day at a beautiful spa honoring my value of beauty. I made the decision to commission a ring from some artists here in Ibiza and had a beautiful morning, drinking freshly squeezed orange juice in a finca in the countryside, looking at different jewels, different rings, and then choosing what I wanted for me. It was a really beautiful, nourishing experience. I tidied the whole house. I studied a new course. I spent a half day studying for enjoyment and pleasure. I watched the whole series of The Unorthodox Life on Netflix. As I said, I found some amazing new artists on Instagram. I read 3 books. I read Redefining Rich with Shannon Hayes, who I interviewed in the last episode of the podcast. That's a great one. Go back, check it out. I really recommend her book for a really refreshing perspective on what it means to be rich and how to live outside the system. And I read a book called The Truth About COVID-19 by Dr. Mercola, which I strongly recommend. You can get it on Kindle from Amazon. I strongly recommend if you want to be informed about all sides of the pandemic. That is a wonderful, wonderful eye-opening book. And I got really clear on my values and what's meaningful to me. This was almost like a retreat at home, and now I feel completely prepared for a start of a new chapter. I don't exactly know what that is, but like many of you who commented on Instagram, I have a sense of something new coming in for us collectively, and also for me personally. I don't know how or exactly what, and I'm okay with that. Part of the magic of life is in the not knowing. We can be intentional, but also surrender at the same time. I feel refilled and ready for a whole new chapter, and all because of my guilt-free staycation. So if you want to hold yourself accountable to taking some guilt-free time off, I recommend you book it in right now whilst it's fresh in your mind from this podcast. It can be a half day, it can be a day, a week, but book that time in now, announce it, make a commitment, and know that it'll pay back far more than it will take from you. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Feminine Millionaire Show. Now, I have something really exciting happening on Monday, the 6th of September. So you have to hop on quick for this one. I am hosting a free live webinar called How to Attract More Dream Clients Without Working Harder. You're going to learn how to make more money without burning out or working harder, how to use your feminine energy to attract clients, and the exact underlying beliefs that are blocking you from attracting more dream clients more easily. And we're going to be testing those live. So you'll get to find out what your next shift can be. I'm going to be talking about masculine and feminine energies and how we can work with both energies to attract more ideal clients. I'm going to be talking about what's important, what needs to happen in your business to bring in more clients, and the kind of steps you need to take in your mindset and in your actions to elevate the clients you're bringing in. It's going to be really powerful. I'm also going to be bringing on a couple of my past students and current students to talk about how they manage their own up level to creating 5-figure months with dream clients. And they have some pretty cool stories. So I strongly encourage you to join. It is happening on Monday, the 6th of September. It's polyalexandre.com/attract-more-clients, or check the link in the show notes. This webinar is for you if you work in a sales profession, freelance profession, or you run your own business where you're seeking to attract more clients. I look forward to seeing you there and see you back here again next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Feminine Millionaire Show. This was one of the most thought-provoking conversations I've had on the show, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Now, I'm excited to share that I have just reopened the doors to my powerful, life-changing mastermind. Now, that's my clients' words, not mine. So if you are making between 2 to 6K a month in your business and looking to scale to 10K plus months or 6-figure years, then you need to check out this Business Accelerator. It's a powerful business program with trainings, teachings, masterminding, energy work, personal development to help you to 6 figures in your business and beyond. Some of the successes from the last year that we've seen are a success coach go from a €400 month to her first 10K month in 6 months. A healer go from €100 sessions to selling 3,500 programs regularly and creating 5-figure months whilst working full time. And creative business owners diversifying, launching new ways of delivering their gifts, having far more fun, and hitting 5-figure months. Enrollment is open for the next 2 weeks for a September start, so go visit thrivebeautifully.com to find out more and schedule a conversation with me about what could be the next steps to grow your business and to explore if this could be the right fit for you. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye for now.